I would have died if I went.
I love that it's 4 fingers.
Dude, I had to leave. There was like a low
It's like you don't
for like 2 days.
fingers aren't even, they don't stay like in line. They're just like all over. It's just like,
And the bass was so loud.
Yeah, I thought it would be like frozen and shattered and evaporated.
Just sublimate.
It was, yeah, exactly. Just make a picture too. Just turn into whatever pictures do. Alright guys, well I'm going to start talking about some stuff while we wait on a computer that will work. Because there's a lot that goes into DJing and being an artist that I don't think a lot of people talk about. So I want to talk about it because I spent the last 3 years pounding my head against the ground trying to figure it out. And now I've sort of figured it out, so I'm going to tell you so you don't have to do that. So, do I need a microphone? Can you guys all hear me? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
what?
I don't think it's
Cool. Okay, well the thing that I've learned about DJing in general is that it works when you are playing music that you love. I played a few gigs where I had to do top 40 stuff, which I'm not the hugest fan of, and not remixes either, like straight top 40s. And playing gigs like that, when you don't love that kind of music, it really makes you want to kind of not do this at all. It just makes you be like, oh, I just played a bunch of songs I hate in a row, and I got paid $50, and one person gave me a shitty request and flipped me off, you know? And that kind of stuff happens, you know, especially if you're playing bars or any place that's serving alcohol. You deal with teabags or drunk people who mean well but are too drunk to talk and that kind of stuff. But if you're playing the music that you really love, then it's kind of worth it. And for me, I really love video game music, I really love chiptunes, and I love house music and dubstep. And I've been fortunate enough to find a bunch of scenes that kind of like that stuff too. So I can go in and play the songs that I want, and that's really worth it to me. I'm not just a straight DJ for hire. I haven't played a wedding. I play a nerdy wedding, or a con wedding. But basically, if you're doing what you love, and it's easy to sort of gain momentum and keep doing it. So do what you love. Lesson 1. Let's talk about some technical stuff, because doing things that are fun, that's kind of obvious. So what do you need to be a laptop DJ? Well, you need a laptop, first of all. Bunk. Could be a Mac, could be a PC. I use Ableton Live, which we're going to get into in a little bit. But you can use a ton of software. There's free software. It's called Mix. That's really great. Tractor is a really popular one that configures with a bunch of controllers. Ableton Live is what I use. Virtual DJs is popular to get started. So there's a bunch of software to use, and it'll run on just about any computer. So take the computer you have or whatever and load up some software. But it's not just, you can DJ with a laptop alone, which is what I'm going to actually show you, the bare bones computer to 1/8" setup. That's what we're going to do with this panel, but I want to show you some of the gear that I use that makes my life easier and makes my set sound better. So the first thing is an external sound card. This is the Audio 4 DJ by Native Instruments. And basically what it is it's 4 inputs and 4 outputs on the back. So you're like, why do you need 4? You're just playing 1 track or 2. Well, 4 is really great because you can have your main song playing out of this, and you can have another song playing out of here, and you could be like mixing on the fly. So maybe you're playing a Deadmau5 song. It sounds really great. Everybody's dancing. You're like, all right, I don't know what the hell I'm going to play next. I'm not prepared. This crowd is really loving this Deadmau5 stuff. So let's look for another Deadmau5 song. What you could do is called queuing another song through the other output. So nobody else hears it. You can just be in your headphones. Boop, boop, boop. Scrolling through your library of music, finding the song that sounds good, that works with what's going on, and you think the crowd will like, and nobody is the wiser that you're working on another song that everybody else is dancing to. So then when you find it, you know, you do your thing in whatever software you're using, you load it up. You can't do that if you don't have an external sound card, at least with any laptop I've come across. So, external sound card is great for queuing. What else is it great for? Not getting knocked out. Playing a song, you really like this song, oh, and everybody's, it's your fault, DJ. Where's the music? I didn't like that song, but I was getting into it, you know? It's a lot harder to knock a USB connection out than a headphone jack. So, there's 2 reasons you want one of these things. And what's the 3rd reason? It's really the most important, is this sounds better than your stock computer sound card. A lot of them support higher bit rates, so if you're downloading waves or big lossless audio files, and you want it to sound really good, sending it through a dedicated sound card is going to sound better than your laptop's I/O. I've seen some DJs who are really good DJs, technically, at mixing, play sets that just sound kind of dwarfy because they don't have a good sound card, because their sound card is old, because they're using their built-in laptop one. And then you'll see another DJ who maybe is not as talented, maybe not as dedicated, plug in the right thing, and all of a sudden it's really loud, it's really full, the bass booms and the highs soar. And that's because, of the equipment, the actual sound that you're feeding into the PA. So, external sound cards. Pretty cool. Headphones. Now, I'm seeing more and more DJs DJ without headphones, and I like to take my headphones off for a good portion of my set, but if you want to cue up a new song, or you want to really get a feel for what's going on, say your monitors are facing away from you, so you can only hear like what it sounds like behind the speakers, or you're at a shitty club and the monitors are blown, which is an experience that I've had. Having a good pair of headphones that do well in high noise environments like these Sennheisers can be really awesome to be like, wait, everyone's dancing, but what the hell is going on? I can't hear anything. It's just like, pop these babies on, and all of a sudden, oh, that's right, I'm playing that song I like. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, I was thinking I was going to have to connect to the internet, but I don't think you're going to have to export anything.
No, I'm not.
What?
Awesome.
I've never seen it done before, but would you recommend something noise canceling like Bose or anything?
I would advise against anything that uses electronic noise canceling. Like, please log into your account. Do you have to do that?
I think it should still work.
Let's see. Can you try to get that going? Noise canceling headphones. Why don't you use them? Because the way that most electronic noise canceling headphones work is they have a tiny microphone on the outside of the headphone. And what it does is it records the external sound and does what's called, it inverts the phase of it. So it takes your whole sound wave, flips it upside down, and what that effectively does physically is cancel out all the sound. So you don't hear what's going on out here because you have a tiny little microphone and a tiny little speaker canceling it out really quickly before it reaches your ear. Why is this bad for DJing? Because it can mess with the stuff that you want to hear. It can give you a false view of what it sounds like in the room. And furthermore, if your batteries die and suddenly your headphones change the way they're working, that can really throw off your whole game. So, don't do that.
What about like Sony headphones?
Sonys are great. I use the Sonys for a really long time. Yeah. I mean, if the headphones are comfortable, they sound good, and they're tight enough on your head that you can hear the headphones over what's outside. I picked up these Sennheisers because they really clamp onto my head, and they fit over my helmet, which is pretty good. But they provide a really good seal, so even if I'm in a room that's really effing loud, which happens, I can pop in my headphones and know what's going on, because you can really damage your hearing if you're having to turn your headphones way up to hear what's going on in there. Suddenly you're blasting your eardrum twice from your headphones and from outside. You really do a lot of damage. So don't do that.
But also they have to fit, because I have several really tight headphones that, for a long time, you're wearing these for hours upon hours of gigs, and you get really, you get pain. It squeezes on your head, and it's not fun.
Yeah, having comfortable headphones is definitely worth a lot too. Does anybody have a jump drive in here, by any chance? Flash drive?
You wear glasses. The side pair glasses should smash.
Yeah.
What about glasses? Oh,
Yeah.
You wear glasses. There are lots of headphones that are made to be worn with glasses, so it's worth checking out. I know Bear Dynamic is a company that makes them. I think Sennheiser has some too. But comfort is definitely important, especially for longer sets, where if it's a loud club and you need your headphones on the whole time, or a loud environment, a house party or something, it can really get brutal to have either uncomfortable headphones or not really good ones. It's kind of like mixing in the dark. You can't really hear what's going on, so you're clunking around. So let me copy some music. Is this on?
No. But it's like green.
Go. Let's learn from my mistakes today, and always show up to your gigs early. This got pushed back, and I wasn't quite sure when we were going to start, so my bad, guys. Show up to your gigs like an hour early, or more than that. If they want you there an hour early, show up an hour and a half, because being able to set up your setup the way you want to is worth a ton, especially if you're standing up there and playing music for God knows how long. What is this? But really what it is that if you're playing with a bunch of other DJs, table space will get eaten up really fast. Like look, I'm one guy, I've covered a table and a half already, and I'm not even set up all the way, so what is that? So yeah, get to your gigs early. This is great. This is DJ Supersonic, by the way. Saving the day. Fastest thing alive.
Oh, there's no little...
So we talked about external sound cards being important. We talked about good headphones being important. I also mentioned that you can DJ without any of this stuff if you want. So you know, it's good to have. I wanted to show you this, which is my favorite piece of gear. The Chaos Pad. This thing I love. How much? As much that it is actually on my poster, on my hand. So that's how much I love it. Traditionally, vinyl DJs would run 2 outputs into a mixing board, or some would run 4, and be able to affect their music, cut the low end of the bass, and tweak stuff around on a big mixing board. A lot of DJs still do this. But for laptop DJing, not having to haul a huge mixing board around or rely on one for your sets can be really awesome for like going and setting up at a con, playing a house party. Having less gear can really open up doors to you being like, hey, I don't need the club to provide me a mixer. I don't need this, that, or the other thing. I can travel with a briefcase and a Chaos Pad, which is what I do. I have a briefcase.
That's right,
bag.
cigarettes.
Yeah. So, but I use the Chaos Pad for effects and kind of sculpting the sound to create certain moods and to provide transitions. So it's a really nice way to be like, oh, hey, I need to, you know, cut the low end of this track and bring something else in. I need to feel like we're going underwater for some reason. That's always fun. Here, let's plug this in and get this whole thing going.
You want less light or you good?
I don't know, can you guys see that? Is that okay?
There's pretty good glare on the top. I think you have control right behind you on the, are those sliders there working?
Oh, that would be a nice light if you get those fluorescents off.
Try the left side.
Oh,
there you go.
Ready to party. That looks good, huh?
Word.
Okay, got my music. Where's the plugs? Mark, how's your battery life on this guy? Think it'll hold on for a little bit? Also why it's good to have friends who are DJs if you want to be a DJ.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. So let's get this going. Like I said, I'm using Ableton Live, which is a popular DJ program and production program. Thank you. And it's really great for a bunch of reasons. We're about to find out why. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to set this up. I'll make 2 tracks, like I was talking about, traditional DJs using. Hit this little button over here to bring up a crossfader, so we can fade between them. You'll hear how that works in a second. I'm going to set it on a mode that I like.
Do you use a mouse?
No, I use the trackpad and I use a little keyboard that I don't have with me. But MIDI controllers, you can find a freaking 1,000 of them, unlimited.
I have an Arduino.
Oh yeah? That's pretty badass.
It really sucks, but it works.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't have the adapter for my laptop, so derp. It's called Untitled. No, it's called DJ Stuff.
I'll tell you what you see.
Okay. So, let me show you how this works. I want to take a track I want, that Final Fantasy track that I played for 1 second, and somebody was like, oh, no way. I'm going to drag it into Ableton. The first thing it's going to do, and I'm going to show you how Ableton works, but a lot of DJ programs work in a similar fashion. So the places I click may not be exactly the same, but the concepts are going to work throughout. So I just pulled that track in, and it scanned it for what it considers the tempo. Did its best computery job to figure out how fast the song is. It looks it's about 110 beats per minute. I'm gonna set my tempo there, and I don't know how loud this is gonna be, but we're gonna listen. Where's your thing?
Oh, this is right.
Sorry. Take a listen.
That's got to be next.
Oh yeah? Okay. It's loud.
Yeah.
Sorry. Also, always sound check. That would have been a great thing to
Now
cover.
deaf.
So I have a track going. We're doing it. This panel should have been called DJing is Easy. Huh? So, now that we're going and everybody's having a good time and we're dancing or hanging out, drinking, whatever, whatever is appropriate for the place you are, let's pick another track to bring in. So normally this involves waiting to a good time in the track to bring something new in for a breakdown or some like lull, so we have a little bit of space. So let's just listen. See our track cruising along right here.
How do you get the call of it?
In Ableton, it's just Control F.
I am able.
Yeah, this is great. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a little loop at the end of this.